This is Music with Mason here. I'm currently at the Redstone room at the Common Chord downtown Davenport, this time with the headliners, Alborn.
One fight to rise. God, turn the pressure against the odds. Son, you're the seller. So tell me or kill me. All I need is that. Come let me out. Show me something more. I don't belong here inside the past. If time can't be restored, don't let me catch you.
How are y'all doing today?
Good, man. Thanks for having us.
Yep.
Doing good.
Good?
Great, man. Again, thanks for having us.
Yep.
Better than all them, for sure.
All right.
Always got one up us.
So you guys are from located in northern Illinois. So you guys have traveled to Iowa a few times, you'd say?
More than a few.
Yeah. So have you guys been here before?
Yes. What is this, our third or fourth time at
I think
Redstone
our
Room?
fourth or fifth. Might be fifth time, honestly.
All right. Well, for those who don't know, this is my first interview in like 2 months. So we're gonna take this easy for a few minutes, and then I'll end up getting back into the rhythm. But for starters, today you guys are gonna be playing alongside Discrepancies, who you guys played with a few times. You've also gonna play along with Emperors and Angels and QCU Rock Academy's Emperor Mercury's Crown. So I don't think you guys have played with Discrepancies a few times, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we've been running with them guys for years. Good
Right.
friends of ours. Have a lot of like mutual contacts and former management, stuff like that. But they're one of our favorites to share stages with, so.
Yep. For sure. And just to get started, my first question with you is, what do you remember about the Rock Fest in Wisconsin? With that big concert. It was huge because there were like a ton of bands there.
Yeah, it was crazy, honestly. And anyone who goes to Rockfest, they're like diehard fans of that type of music anyway. So the energy was just through the roof.
Right on.
I remember that going over way better than what I feel like it was supposed to, which was really cool. I
Yep.
think we sold a lot of merch. We talked to a ton of people. We had a line at our booth when we got done, and for a noon show, like a 12 o'clock performance, that's nothing we've ever experienced.
Right.
I think we've played at noon 2 times, and both times it was like, our grandparents being like, please get off the stage,
Yeah. And I also want to mention, this is just a really specific person or a band, Powerman 5000. Who is Powerman 5000?
Like, in general, you mean? Or
Yeah.
Just like, okay.
Well, yeah.
So they're a band that they come out of the late 90s, I think, is when they blew up. Their singer Spider is Rob Zombie's little brother. Basically, to put it generally, they're one of the best bands to get on the road with in general. Like,
Yeah.
that was such a killer experience to tour with them guys.
Well, how many places did you tour with them? Like,
It was
You-
close.
you-
It was like 2.5 weeks.
Yeah, it was close to 3 weeks. I can't remember how many dates we ended up
I
doing.
want to say it was like
Yeah.
13 shows or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, at least that. For sure.
you've been to a lot of places down south as well, like Alabama. What was it like being a Midwestern band and heading down to some of those southern places, like places you've never been before? Did you think you were going to go to those places?
Dude, we were at home. When we got to Alabama, I'm like, dude. There's an immediate connection somehow. And it's not that there's a disconnection with places like California or Florida, but there's something special about like that Midwest, especially when you tap into like the blue collar element, that there's just like an undisclosed bond with those guys that we immediately felt like in the midst of a tornado coming through. A show almost got canceled because this massive hurricane was coming through or some shit. And we all got just past it. Like it had just went by, the show went on, and like knowing that building could have just gotten obliterated
Yep.
didn't phase us or that crowd at all.
Right.
Like, we're still here? What's the problem? Like, we're going to jam, right? Whereas I feel like if something like that would have happened in California, I don't think they would react the same. Like, it would just be a different,
Right.
crisis mode or whatever.
But at the end of the day, I mean, you're going to put on a performance for anyone, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So you're just going to give it 100% regardless of, conditions or wherever you are or what the weather's like. You're just trying to do your best and you're trying to get the music out there. Right. So I also want to point out Full Circle was on Sirius XM. Do you remember that? Mm-hmm. How did it get onto Octane on Sirius XM?
It went through their test drive program, which is a really good things for regional bands just trying to kind of scratch the surface of the next level, because there's a lot of different methods of submission and stuff, and it happened to just be luck of the draw that we got chosen amongst a couple other singles, and then it ran, of course, for a while, did some good numbers for us and stuff, but that's a huge milestone,
right.
For a band like us. I mean, for anything satellite radio or Sirius XM on any station is monumental. That means something.
Yeah, and you guys have hit the billboards a few times, which is also really cool. So what other...
It's weird to hear that out loud.
I know, but
So I would be like,
what was it? Top 40 on the Billboard charts for what? Rock, active rock? Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's amazing.
nuts.
Yeah.
It still doesn't click with me when I hear it. I'm like, nuh-uh.
Then another show, I think 3 shows, with some guy named Mark Rizzo, the one-man performance at Braidwood. Mm-hmm. Who was Mark? Like, he was like what? Like a one-man performance with a cool-ass guitar?
Yeah, he was like I don't know what you would want to call his act.
He was from
He was from Soulfly.
Yes. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, he was in Soulfly, and then he went and did his own solo thing. And yeah, it was definitely like a showcase of his abilities, but it was a cool, entertaining show.
Yeah.
And I was glad to be part of it. Yeah.
And do you remember Afterglow visuals? Why did you decide to go with an animation project when you chose to do your music video for Even Numbers? Do you know why you chose to do animation instead of like a classic live performance or like a live thing you did?
Did you have the original idea for having that?
Yeah. I mean, I was always glued to like Tool type music videos, and I love the idea of not being in front of the camera because I don't give a shit about what I look like. Obviously, like the image has never been anything with us. So when you think about trying to put together a music video, and you know that you're going to be in it, I feel like you should be adding something. And I'm strictly talking as like looking back and trying to learn from the videos that we have done. Like, there should be something intriguing that you're doing if you're going to be in the music video. But if you're not, then now tell a story. That's a wide open plane to do whatever you want creatively. And we did that with Even Numbers and even Learn to Live. None of us are in it. It's just strictly a story. And I mean, those are my favorite anyway, because I just don't want to be in the camera. I'm getting pretty pissed off as we speak.
Oh, yeah. If you want, I can blur you out.
There you go. John,
yeah. But so what about his style of animation did you decide you wanted to pick with him instead of someone else? Is he local or?
That was a friend of Nate's. Yeah, what do you got on that?
Yeah, so I have a friend that when I do music with him every once in a while for fun, but he's really good with computers and programming, and he had been showing me some stuff he was doing on this program animation wise, and then when he mentioned that to me, I was like, well, maybe this would be fun to do in house, and so me and him just worked through it, and God, it took.
Yeah.
How long did that take? Do you think?
That was a long time.
It was like 6 or 8. I mean, it took us 6 or 8 months to do that, I swear.
But it was cool because we were all, like, everybody was learning something that was a part of that at the same time. But we were all learning totally different stuff. We were learning about storylines, and, like, we never thought we'd be doing a video that was strictly animation. And then the guy that did it was learning how to do it. Like, we would tell him, like, we want the guy to do this, and he had to figure out how the fuck do you make this person do this. He's like, because we do it so easy, but how do you tell a computer to make the thing,
Yeah.
So it was fun. That was a cool learning curve for everybody. That was a good time.
His name is Evan McDermott. I'll give him the shout out.
Evan McDermott.
He worked super hard on that.
Yeah. Did you take over the Rust Belt's Instagram?
Oh my goodness, we did do that. Yeah, and I thought we did pretty good. At first, when they asked us, I was like, reap what you sow. Here we go with this thing.
Right?
If I got a handful of Dak Fax slushies in me, dude,
Yeah.
don't let me take over your.
Yeah.
That's a horrible, that's a lot of
Trust.
that they put into
yeah.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was just to lead up for a show, right?
Yeah, it was just, and they, it's like a thing they do, but there's like a restaurant and like a couple like brewery bars attached to that place. So we were basically walking around tagging those places,
Yep.
just showing that we were there and stuff and hanging out there all day and stuff. But that was really cool. I totally forgot about that.
That show was huge.
Oh, yeah.
The audience comparison to like just this place or like just a typical place on the road, it was like the audience was massive. Do you know why it was so massive for that specific date? Like who else was there at that show?
Which one was
Was that
that?
last year's I Rock party or no?
I think that was the year before. Anytime we're fortunate enough to be on that bill, it's always supporting a huge name. Mm-hmm. And plus, I think the Rust Belt now is at a point to where it kind of has its own following.
Yeah, it
kind of
does.
doesn't really matter what the show is. They're just going to pack people in there because it's good environment, good location, sound is good, lights are awesome.
Yeah.
That type of thing.
And I also want to mention the Seven Dust. So you've played with Seven Dust a couple of times, but you also recorded with Morgan Rose at the Attic. Mm-hmm. Well, for what was that the first single or the album you made?
It was for what was the first piece of content that came off of that?
Had it been, I think it was Prime or Waves, one of the two.
Prime, I believe, was the first one.
Yeah.
So
we did 11 or 12 songs with those guys, I think.
What was the last one we did? Was it Pause?
Hindsight was the last one. Was the most recent one that we released with them guys.
it was so how did you get in touch with him? Have you ever played with Seven Dust? Did you meet him before Seven Dust, or did you play with Seven Dust and then you decided to ask him to help you out?
No, we did that because we won a Battle of the Bands, and one of the parts of the winnings was to record a couple songs with Jose, who was the producer of the Attic. He's the owner of the Attic, and he was buddies with Morgan, and they were linking up right around the same time, talking about they wanted to produce some local bands just as kind of something to do. So it kind of got lumped in that way, where we were talking to Jose about like, when are we going to go do this, and then he was like, well, if we can line it up, I can try to get Morgan in here and we can see what we can make out of that.
Yeah.
And then it just went from there.
Right. And you guys have been like, what, you've been playing every time to time ever since then? So like you hop on bills and stuff with him with Seven Dust?
Not as much recently. We used to quite a bit, but
It's been a while.
stuff fades in and out. So.
Right. But you also shared the stage with Shinedown.
Yes.
What show was that? Do you remember?
That was at the Mississippi Valley Fair, which is a gigantic thing that the Quad Cities does every year. And funny enough, that was a result of winning another Battle of the Bands. Was to basically open the rock night at Mississippi Valley Fair, and Shinedown was the headliner.
Yeah.
But that is bar none. I mean, that's got to be quadruple the size of any crowd that we've played to.
Yeah.
Like, I think they estimated like 14,000 people.
Yeah, the Mississippi Valley Fair really doesn't mess around when it comes to performances and stuff like that. T-Pain played last year. So, yeah, people were throwing beers and stuff at him on stage, and he was calling them
I
out.
remember that. That's crazy.
I know.
That sounds about right for.
The Village Theater.
Mm-hmm.
Did you play there with Been There, Done That?
Yeah.
Did we?
Them and Discrepancies, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a cool bill,
Yeah.
dude.
I've never been inside the Village Theater. What was it like being inside of that Village Theater? Because you don't think of Davenport and immediately go to the Village Theater. Or the East Village in general.
Yeah.
Which I think is a shame, because
Yeah.
the place is set up to just be a raging place where, like, the stage is really tall, so no matter what, you're kind of on a pedestal type thing. The space for the crowd it's like a perfect square, you know? I love the Redstone, but it's a unique shape. It's narrow, very deep. This place is just, it's wide and deep, and the stage is tall, the sound is killer, very condensed, and it's that one is super impactful as the how it sounds empty versus with people, you know.
Yeah.
But the location, right in that village. I mean, I don't know anything about it, but I know that the place is badass and should be a staple in the area.
It's very underrated, is
There
what
you
I would
go.
say. Not a lot of people go there, but it's like the tourist spot of Davenport.
Yeah.
If you wanted to walk around, like little markets and stuff. You've also played with another all-female band called Plush Rocks.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the release party, right?
That was after the Seven Dust run, was it not?
Yeah, it was.
So the first time we played with those guys was when we did just a short little couple day southern run with Seven Dust was the headliners, and then Plush was their direct support for the tour, and then we opened a couple dates for them. We got linked up with their people, and they asked us to come out to New York and open their CD release party, which was awesome.
Yeah.
What was the name of that venue?
I'm trying to remember.
Empire.
Empire.
Albany?
In Albany.
It was
Yeah.
Albany. Yep.
All right. Well, that's sick. You got up to the northeast? So
It was cold.
Yeah.
It was cool, but it was cold. We
Yeah.
got stuck in the alley because it was too icy.
Do you remember? Do you remember playing at a pig roast?
Oh, and who else?
Oh, yeah.
In
we played there
Nelson?
a couple times. Yeah.
So
yeah.
what
I mean,
was?
say that like we wouldn't remember
Yeah.
a pig roast, bro.
Well, like you don't think of a pig roast, but you know, if you played with Pitler, I'm sure they would do it every time if they wanted to.
Yeah.
But what was it like at that specific place in Nelson? So
That's-
was it a big venue? Was it short? What was it like?
That's set up to be a massive thing,
Uh-huh.
and the people that put it on are like right in our backyard.
Mm-hmm.
So we know everybody. So it's basically just a festival of hometown people. where
Right.
You can just get. So what do I remember from it? Very little. You know?
Yeah.
But it was awesome.
Yeah.
It's an awesome, like, you got to drive, what would you say, half a mile back into the woods.
Yeah.
You take a gravel path back into the woods, and
I mean, that's how you do it in the Midwest.
Yeah.
You just go to these like little random underground places in the middle of nowhere and put on a show.
Yeah.
That's where the best places are. But what do you remember? Oh man, this is weird. The Dixon Historic Theater, Wizard of Oz and the Poltergeist. What was that?
We're not sure.
We're asking you.
Well, it was like, to me, it looked like you were playing the soundtrack to those movies, or something like that.
it was
I can
just-
promise you, if that's what actually happened, it would have been way fucking cool.
Yeah. No, it was what was it, like
It was a
around
double
Halloween?
feature.
It was like around Halloween or something.
Yeah, it was like right before Halloween.
Yeah,
Just-
and they played them movies back to back, and there was a good amount of people there for it.
Right.
But they just played them and then had a concert afterwards, just cause, you know,
Yeah.
just 'cause you can.
Conceptually, it was awesome.
Yeah.
Executionally, it wasn't
the other way around.
flawless.
It sounds good, but it wasn't that good.
It was
Essentially.
I want to go back there because the theater is kick ass,
huh.
but it's also set up really good for movies.
Right.
But I wouldn't do them in the same night.
Right.
You know?
It's like two different mindsets.
Yeah.
It's either relax or listen to loud music.
Poltergeist is a really good movie.
Right?
Yeah, it was pretty good. Yeah.
What do you remember about Xmas in Zaggyland at Hook's Pub?
God, that was years ago.
We used to play hooks all the time, and I think as of recently they've kind of I think they blew out the stage and built a super cool kitchen in there or whatever. But we used to play hooks all the time. It was just kind of a smaller place that we could get into anytime we wanted to. And the Zaggy Land, Wes Weber is the radio guy from Erie that kind of has that, I don't know what you want to call it, show or persona. But his band Drama Major, we used to run with them all the time. So that was just one of many
Right.
hook sessions that we did.
Yeah. And does the band thrive off of IPA?
Fucking right, brother.
100%. Yeah, dude.
Yeah, dude.
And I've seen a lot of you guys post a bunch of IPAs and flavors on there. Do you have favorites?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
I mean,
Could you
this
list
is the
off?
part of the interview
yeah.
that you're going to get a lot of feedback from. So we're going to go down the list. Okay,
All right.
Space Dust is going to be a top contender.
Okay.
Then there's Anti-Hero. That's like the Mountain Dew of beers for us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. What do you got for on the list, Race?
Anti-Heroes, just kind of the daily cruiser.
Okay.
Shoots,
Deschutes, fresh squeezed.
Sierra Nevada,
Lagunitas.
Yeah.
Here and there. You know,
Like
here
he's
and there.
been knocked down a couple pegs.
Toppling Goliath, Pseudo Sue.
Pseudo Sue.
Top
Yeah.
contender. That's local too. What's another local one? Green Tree.
Green
has some good IPAs.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's in
What do you got to add, Nate?
Leclerc.
I got nothing.
He's got no IPAs.
He's not the IPA drinker.
Oh yeah. Okay. It's not everyone's thing, but now we're moving on to some personal questions for each of the band members. So for Justin, quick question: have you handed out saltwater taffy on a 3-wheeler?
Have I? Hell yeah, I have.
What? You were in overalls on a 3-wheeler, and you had taffy in your pocket on your overalls. So what was that like? The theme of like a redneck looking kind of outfit you had on when you did it, or did you just show up like that?
Just did it, man. I
Yeah.
felt like giving back.
It was sick though. I must admit, it was sick.
There was 0 drugs in my system. For real. I don't do any drugs. And I just really wanted taffy, and I bought way too much. And I own a 3-wheeler. I'm like, let's merge everything together. They're doing me a favor by helping me get rid of the taffy. But on top of that, it's fucking delicious. It worked out.
Yeah. That's the real way to get your name out there. Handing out taffy.
I think the goal too was I want to do something before that show that nobody can ever forget.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, even just you describing it, me hearing back, I'm like, that sounds ridiculous. But I remember it. So do you.
It was iconic. Yeah.
Yep.
You met Dwyer and Michaels.
Yeah.
How long ago was that when you met Dwyer and Michaels?
Dude, the first time I think was 2017.
Uh-huh.
We put out. They brought us in to do an interview. I love this story, dude. They brought us in to do an interview, and we sit down. And this was right amidst, if you remember, in the local area, the scene of the radio scene, especially when that was a big thing. Somebody got 97X tattooed on their face because either Dwyer or Michael said there's going to be a giant cash reward if somebody actually tattoos our name on their face. Wouldn't that be crazy? Somebody did it and then went to him and said, "Where's my money?" And they're like, "Yeah, that was clearly a fucking joke, dude."
Oh yeah,
Remember
that. Yeah.
Okay, so like right after that, they bring us in to do an interview, and they're like, "So how you guys doing?" I'm like, "I'm great, dude. I'm jobless. I quit." And they're like, "Why?" I was like, "To come here. I'm big time now. I'm on your guys' show." And they're like, "You did not quit your fucking job to come here." And I'm like, "Yeah, did I not make it?" And he goes, "They're just stressed beyond belief." He's like, "Are you messing with me?" I'm like, "Yes, dude, I didn't quit my job." And they were not, they like were pissed about it.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked since then, but like, when I remember when I finally told them I was kidding, they're like, "You shouldn't joke about that stuff, dude." I'm like,
That's what they do all day.
yeah, no shit. That's what took me back. I'm like, the two biggest smartasses in the area can take a little bit back, you know?
You know, the hypocrites. But it's changed now. But in the end of the day, that did happen, and he have to leave the Quad Cities. I heard something. He had to leave the Quad Cities, go to Iowa City, stay there for a couple of years until he got a contract because they were so good to come back.
Really?
I think so. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's the same guy. The source comes from my dad. Anyway, do you wrap all of your presents in magazine paper?
Dude, you're digging deep, fucking right. Because, again, just like the taffy thing, I have a lot of paper that I need to get rid of.
Right.
I also have gifts I gotta give people. 2 birds, 1 stone.
That's true. But it looks cool too. When I saw the photo of you doing it, you had like a 6 Chevrolet magazine paper on the car on the present. So
Well, it's gonna be a car magazine or a nudie magazine. So
Pick one.
I'm not gonna bring titties to my family at Christmas, but I don't mind a couple hot rods. You know, it seems a little more acceptable.
right, that does seem a lot more acceptable. But who's Weenie?
Weenie.
Your truck.
It's got a lot
yeah.
of nicknames.
50 years old.
Yeah, it's a 73.
Yeah.
So it's 52 now. Yeah,
She's
it's
a young soul. Though.
started as Gangrene, then it got Greenie, then it got Weenie. I mean, it's pretty fucking dorky to name a truck in the first place. So I think now I'm just making fun of myself.
Every good truck owner does it.
I know.
But Weenie's a pretty good name.
Yeah.
And it's been through a lot, right?
Yeah, that started 2-wheel drive. I made it 4-wheel drive, picked it up with a tractor, and put it on 4-wheel drive frame. I've rebuilt everything. I mean, if you're not a gearhead, and I'm just speaking a different language, but
Yeah.
if you are, dude,
Yeah.
we'll have a conversation. So I've done a lot to it.
Do you know how many vehicles you own?
Right now, I think 8.
Dude, do they all have names?
Oh, piece of shit. I think that's what I call all of them. Yeah, total piece of shit.
But what about the truck henge in Topeka with the peacocks and the truck statues?
Oh man.
Holy moly!
That was the craziest thing I've seen yet. You guys were there. What was it like? It was like redneck territory. That was where stuff got real.
Peacocks screamed at the end of every song. If they didn't scream, it means you.
It was their ovation.
Yeah.
What I like, my favorite part was just like what I seem to remember when I look back at shows is the first thing to set the tone.
Yeah.
And for that show, when we pulled in, this guy with no shirt, some short shorts, and really, really long hair is telling us where to park, even though there's a lot of land, no cars, and we can pretty much park anywhere. He goes, just go ahead and pull it over there to the right. I gotta mow this lot first. And I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Giant lot, really tall grass. He starts a push mower.
Just random strips, everywhere.
Yeah. So he's mowing. I mean, it's the equivalent of like, if this carpet is this wide, removing the fabric of it one strand at a time. It's like you're gonna be here till next year. You're never gonna mow all this. I gotta mow this lot quick. I figure gonna get out the zero turn. I'm like, Jesus H. What's going on?
Yeah. That show sticks though, right?
Because of that, and the peacocks were pretty cool.
The trucks going in there, and there was wooden carved heads.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of artwork.
Yeah.
There was a lot of artwork.
Artwork. Mm-hmm. Have you used your cello?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I use it a ton in the studio.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Could you list some songs where we could hear like a cello soundtrack in it?
Of my own, nothing released, which is unfortunate. But I hope to change that this year. I should be releasing a lot more.
We need a cello solo, which is what we need.
Dude, I'm gonna dolo in a cello solo.
What can you say about the cassette tape you found in your mailbox?
When we did an Instamix,
Yeah.
a guy he recorded it without us knowing, I think, and then sent a cassette tape. But it had this he put a big thing in there about everybody that was there with me on it. And that was cool. I got a handful of things that are like, I don't know if you want to call it fan stuff or like stuff I've produced, stuff I've worked on. So I did a lot of stuff with other bands over the years. And that shit is always extra cool. But that was a cool thing.
Yeah, and it contained the song that you wrote as a group with like the band that were all there, like one of each member.
Yeah. Yep.
And did it contain the lyrics?
Yeah. You know the answer to that.
Yeah, with the blue paper.
But I don't remember.
With the black with the blue font and the black paper.
Yeah.
And your Impala was in a Seven Dust video.
Yeah, it was in a Morgan Rose video.
Right.
He put out an EP, and he wanted a clip of an old car running him over. And I'm like, dude, I got you covered.
And it was sick though, right? It was in the background. They were dressed up all cool and stuff.
Yeah,
so
I had to yell at a prostitute about something at one point. That was part of the video. And then the other part, he said he wanted me to run him over. And like, we know how old cars could be. So I didn't, like I was like 70% sure it would stop in time. And it did.
Yep.
Or whatever.
Right.
But like it was, I was trying to tell him like, just jump if it gets too close. I don't know what to say to somebody that's not familiar with old cars. Like, they got a mind of their own. They're like a fucking toddler. They're gonna. Do I need to be PG?
No.
This? Fucking right. They're like toddlers. So like, just don't expect it to stop in time. But he didn't. He wasn't paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
But it stopped in time. So it all worked out.
there you go.
Yeah.
As long as it looked cool, right? And it ran at the end of at the shoot.
Yeah, that was late too. That was, dude. Funny story. When we got done with that, Emil, our tour manager, rode with us. On the way back, I drove as fast as the car would go, and this was before I re-geared the rear end and put a different tranny in it. It would go about 110 mile an hour.
Mm-hmm.
But that's That's easily over double what that car was ever supposed to go. You know, in '64, you weren't driving that fast. But I held it, the pedal to the floor. What was that? A 15-mile stretch, and it's just screaming. We went through like a quarter tank and died right outside of our hometown, and we coasted. And it was like 2 or 3 in the morning, and Razor had to have just laid in bed. And I called him. I'm like, buddy, I need some gas. He's like, every gas station is closed within 15 miles of here, and I'm like, empty out the push mower. I don't know what to tell you. I need gas.
Yeah.
We laid out on the trunk lid staring at the stars.
Hey, they can't hear you. They can't hear you.
The
all the way
microphone.
over there.
Don't worry. I think they can pick you up on that camera.
Yeah,
I hope so.
We fucking kicked back on the trunk lid in the rear window and stared up at the stars waiting for the gas to show up.
Wow. Where were you?
It was outside of Prophetstown.
Yeah. How far away is that from hometown?
My home base is Sterling. Prophetstown is like 15 minutes, 20 minutes from there.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I and Razor grew up.
Okay.
Razor still lives there.
Right on. So now we're moving on to Razor. So, do you currently reside in the Smoky Mountains in Tennessee?
No, but I do like it there.
Yeah. What makes it an iconic spot for you?
At least like the first time I went there before it got really touristy, because I think it's like getting there now. It was just like you could just rent a cabin in the woods pretty much and pretend lumberjack and nobody's gonna bother you for like a week. And if you wanted to go like be social and do stuff, there's just a lot of cool stuff to do there, like a lot of breweries, you know
Yeah.
me, a lot of IPAs. But yeah, it's just real. I don't know. I just like the spot and I like the vibe and the scenes.
It's calming.
Yeah.
All right.
It's a nice vacation.
And you
spot.
met Mike Portnoy?
We all did.
Yeah.
At the Plush EP release show. The band that he was playing for at the time was playing at the same venue upstairs. And we walked up there, we got to the venue, did our sound check, whatever. We walked upstairs because we heard noise upstairs. I can't remember what we were looking for. But all of a sudden, there's another band sound checking on stage, and I'm like kind of looking at the drummer, and I'm like, there is no fucking way that's who I think it is. So I'm kind of asking the other guys. I was like, do you see that up there? There's no way. That's not Mike Portnoy. And they're like, yeah, we think it is. And then so there was kind of like whispers that he knew that like Plush was playing and stuff, and I think he knew of them beforehand and stuff. Well, then we're downstairs in the green room after the show and stuff. Sure as shit, he comes walking in. So he's just kind of shooting the shit, all 5'4" of them, walking around taking pictures and stuff. And then we ended up getting pictures with him and stuff. But yeah, that was really cool because that guy's,
It was so Well, if it was so random for you guys, right? Because you didn't know that they knew of Plush, right?
No, we had no idea that dude was going to be there until we saw him with our own eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was super cool.
And Brooke Kalushi, who was with Plush, right?
Yeah, she was with Plush at the time. Now she's with a different band now. I think she's like still touring and stuff, but legend to come up the way she did at getting popular on social media, doing covers and stuff, just like a lot of other people do, and then joining the powerhouse that Plush is. But yeah, she was badass to share the stage with and watch and learn from.
Right. And you found out the Deftones made a collaboration with a beer company?
Yes, with Belching Beaver from out west. I can't remember if they're based in California, but we've gone to Vegas a couple times to track tunes. I've been to Cali, and it's the first thing I look for anytime I'm going out to fill the fridge in the Airbnb or whatever we're gonna go do. But they've done a few different beers. They're all incredible because they're all IPAs.
There you go.
That's why they're good.
And what is Scorpio Percussion?
Scorpion Percussion is the stick company that I'm endorsed by, that I play for.
Right.
Badass. I wouldn't want to go anywhere else.
When did you sign with them?
Oh God, sometime in 22, I think. But incredible customer service. I talk to Smitty, the owner, all the time. He's always wanting to know what I'm up to, what we're up to.
Yeah.
Real personable, kind of like family oriented company. Absolutely love them.
For sure. Now we're going to move on to Zame. What can you say about Pristine Cuisines?
Man, I didn't say anything about it. That was him narrating the whole thing. God, I don't remember how the video went. Honestly, I was.
The piece of bread.
Oh, yeah.
I was. Yeah.
Yes, you do.
It was pretty foggy.
Yeah. I was pretty half in the bag when we recorded that video. That was full in the bag. I mean, it's two-piece pretzel, whatever you said in there.
Two-piece pretzel.
Yeah, man. We need another one.
Yeah, we'll get to that. We'll work on that one.
What was part wolf?
Part wolf.
Minneapolis.
Oh,
Yeah. That was a kind of random one-off show. It was just a small venue. It had a DJ downstairs too, but we played it. It was a really small stage with like three or four other bands, and it was all right. It was cool. It was a cool show, but
Unfortunately, it's closed.
is it
Forever.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I wanted to search up on their Instagram, but their Instagram said they were closed forever.
Damn.
I know.
I do remember they had some really like sick murals outside the building.
Yeah. What is retuned?
So that was a concept we came up with to basically take the vocals of every popular song you've heard, like "Smells Like Teen Spirit" was like the first one we did, I believe, and we just rewrote the music around that, so to make it, it's familiar but also different at the same time.
I'm gonna show these guys this photo I found before I show you.
God.
Look at this.
Oh, you better believe I've seen every old photo of Zane.
Yeah?
Because I beg him to bring back the hair pretty much every time I see him.
Oh yeah.
He looks older in that photo than he does now.
Oh yeah, dude, I've commented on that.
What is this photo?
Oh yeah. So that was my old band back in high school. Our band name was Helios, like the Roman or Greek god. Mm-hmm. And we mainly played like covers, but we wrote some original stuff too. I think that was someplace in DeKalb that we played at in that photo.
Yeah. How long was the band active?
Maybe a year, maybe 2 years. I
Yeah.
can't remember for sure.
Do you remember everyone in the picture?
Oh yeah.
They're all high school buddies?
Yep, all high school. I still talk to them, see them every once in a while.
Yep. And the name was Helios, right?
Yep.
Did you have any originals?
Yeah, we did. I think we released 2 or 3 originals, and the recording, mixing, and all that was all in-house stuff we did ourselves, and basically demos.
Yeah.
Nothing like super professional done, but it was our first time writing songs and putting them out, and we were really proud of them for what they were.
Yeah. And what is that the reason you decided to stick with music? It was with that band, or did you have another band before that?
That was like my first rock band. I grew up playing music, but that was my first rock band I actually played with. I just stuck with music because like I said, I've been playing it my whole life. A lot of my family are musicians, so that's just what naturally came to me.
Yeah.
Was music.
Well, now you're here,
Yeah.
and you're rocking it.
Hell yeah.
You're doing whatever the fuck you want. There you go.
Yeah, man.
welcome to Davenport. Moving on to Nate. So, is it true that you used to work at Jimmy John's?
Still do.
You still
Nice.
do?
Yeah.
Manager?
What'd you say?
As your manager?
I do manager or driver. I kind of just fill spots.
Yeah?
At this point,
Is it good? Is it a good job?
I like it. I mean, I'm to the point. I've over the years worked a lot of food places just for the schedule and being able to like get off when I need to for band events and stuff. But I'm working there less and makes me enjoy it more, I guess. When I do work there.
What is Lux Productions?
So that's the job. I just switched. Lux does. It's an AV company, and they do like corporate events. They'll do big weddings. They do bar mitzvahs. It's lighting, sound, that type of stuff, and,
Yep.
and a lot of different facets. But
And I didn't mean to cut you off.
no,
Do you remember something called Static Signal?
yeah.
And you got to play with Royal Bliss at the Rostocks?
Oh man, is that in Wisconsin? Yep, that was a while ago.
What can you remember about Static Signal?
No, that was my first band. Me and my friend Brad started it, and God, that must have went for 6 or 7 years, I think.
Yeah.
And then when that band, coolest story ever, I feel like for me, is that band, we decided to stop playing at like 2 p.m. on a Monday or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then he messaged me, and I'd met Justin before, been friends with him and stuff like that. I had went down and seen them when they played a July 4th get together, whatever, down in Prophetstown. But like 2 hours later, he messaged me and asked if I play 7-string, and then that's how I got hooked up with doing this. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So I have a few generic questions, like the boring ass questions you get all the time if you do interviews. Could you list some of the venues you've played at where they are your favorite, like 100%, like you'd play there 100 times if you could?
The Cooler in Rock Falls.
Yep.
I mean, for the foreseeable future, in my head, we'll play there on Blackout Wednesday every year. That's just a tradition thing. It's like one of the places that would always give us a show when we were getting started as a cover band and stuff. I mean, every time we go there, the place gets packed. We're great friends with the owners, the people that show up. I mean, they spend money at the bar and the merch booth, and everyone has a great time. It's a bar, but it's such a cool vibe when we're there, because it feels like home to us, because we've been doing it for so many years and played there so many countless times. Like that's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Overall.
Yeah, and could you list some of the first radio stations who've played your music? Is iRock one of them?
iRock is probably the biggest one that consistently plays our music. I mean, I think all of our release music is probably in the rotation somewhere, some more frequent than others, but iRock has done so much for us on that spectrum of FM radio. Like Ryan is just he's our dude, man.
Yep.
He means the world to us. But yeah, iRock, I mean, 97X, there's a station in Waterloo, 104.9, the X in Rockford is a big one that we're friends with. Vintage Radio out of Erie.
107.7, right?
Yep.
God, I feel like there's a couple others I'm missing from the area.
Yeah.
And a lot of them too are like, we get close to them when we're getting ready to release a song or something, and we'll tell them it's going to come out. Do you want it? You want to spin it? And it's a lot of it's just like a regional, kind of a Midwest radius. But
Did you say the Dubuque one? I think the Dubuque one does too.
I can't remember the name of the Dubuque one.
Banana.
The Banana. The Banana in Dubuque.
Yep. And for each of you, if you could pick two bands to play alongside, either, still here or totally dispersed, who would you pick? Whoever wants to go first. I can just pass the phone.
Beatles, Doors.
It's a sick lineup.
I like those
Do we go
answers.
before them or after them?
In between.
That's the thing. Because either way, we're going to sound futuristic as shit next.
One of mine would probably be Tool. God, who else? Maybe Deftones.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think we'd squeeze in there pretty good somehow.
Yeah. Win another battle of the bands.
I was gonna say Deftones, and then one of my favorite bands is a band called North Lane.
Okay.
I like to play with them.
Okay. It was at your Doors and Beatles?
I'd say I want to say Linkin Park, but back when Chester was still around.
Mm-hmm.
And then what was the other one? I was gonna say like Gojira.
Okay.
Gojira would be insane.
Yeah. So, final two questions for you guys. Starting off with, what is the future for Alborn? We already see you guys playing a lot more. We're going to be seeing you guys pick up on different locations and stuff. I'm hoping you're going to be releasing more music, another album maybe a single or an EP. But what are you going to be telling us in public? What are you releasing? Or what are you doing?
We absolutely have soon to come music, like very soon. I mean, the first half of this year is going to consist of at least a few singles, accompanied by music videos. And I mean, with that comes basically as many shows as we can fill the calendar with. I mean, you kind of associate them two things.
Yep.
The goal, the long-term goal, is absolutely to do a full-length album. Never done it. I've always wanted to do it. I would like to accomplish that this year or next year. You know, it's our release rate is about 2 songs a year. You know, and it's been that way for a long time. So I would foresee it taking a while, but the goal is to put out an album soon,
Yep.
a full length.
Yeah. And do you have any tour dates scheduled yet that we could know about?
None announced. There's
Okay.
some stuff in the works, but nothing in
Nothing official. Okay, I got you.
Right.
So our final question for you, Alborn, is what would you tell the young and aspiring musicians who want to be in your shoes right now and play on stage with these guys, get on the radio, do what they want, and have the passion to play music?
Don't take advice from a guy that drinks a slushie out of a fucking plastic jug. That's what I would say.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Are you gonna say something?
I was thinking.
You just keep sighing. Say something.
You know I do that.
Yeah, say something.
What to say to him? To what? Motivate him to do it?
Or, just reassure them that it's possible.
My biggest thing would be don't listen to anybody that says that you're not gonna do it. You know, because there's always those people that are like, oh, you play music, and they look down upon it almost. So you just kind of like gotta put that out of your head and always do it for the love of playing.
Yep.
Or whatever your favorite part of the band is. I mean, I feel like you can. There's so many ways to go about it nowadays with all the different social media tools and all the different, just basically tools that exist. That whatever your favorite part of it is, like attacking social media and making videos like we do, like the generic stuff that we've been posting that hasn't costed us anything. Is some of the stuff that draws the best numbers. Like, as long as it's organic and you like doing it, whichever part of the aspect of the band that you like doing, don't let anybody tell you that what you're doing is time wasted.
For sure. Any final words, Zane?
Follow us.
Follow us for more tutorials. Yeah. No, that's what I got.
All right. Well, thank you guys from Alborn. We really like you guys being here, and we really appreciate your music. We hope to see you in the next interview.